Okay, so let's think about offense for a minute. Okay, so here's why you have ideas. Now, you have ideas so you can orient yourself in the world in abstraction. Now, you might want to think something through before you do it, because if the thing you want to do is stupid and you think it through and you understand that you will come to a bitter end if you pursue that course, then you can kill that idea. Now, maybe you're kind of fond of that idea and you've invested a lot in it, so there's going to be some goddamn pain when you kill your own stupid ideas. And that'll make you offensive to yourself. Now, maybe you can offer those ideas to other people, and you offer them, you say, what do you think of this? And they go after you hard and they kill the idea. Well, of course, that's going to hurt your feelings because it's part of you that's dying, but it's a stupid part. That doesn't mean there's not going to be any pain associated with it. And so it's often the people who oppose your ideas most dreadfully who are in some sense the force that keeps your stupidity in check. Now, that's not always the case, but it's frequently the case. And so what this means, you have to understand what this means, is there's no genuine critical thought without hurt feelings. Do you understand that? No critical thought without hurt feelings. Okay, then you say, well, we'll dispense with critical thought because we don't want anybody's feelings to be hurt. So then they wander off a cliff and die. And so that's not a good substitute. We evolved thinking, so our stupid thoughts could die instead of us. Now, the death of a thought is still something that's associated with a certain degree of emotional dysregulation because the chaos that thought constrained is released when that thought dies. And the future vision that was associated with that thought disappears as well. And so there's a certain amount of dissolution of hope. But it's better to have your stupid thought die than for you to suffer directly, physically, or even die. And so if we institute a rule that critically minded people, so those would be disagreeable people, the same people you rely on, by the way, if you're compassionate, to protect you from the idiot hedonistic thugs, if you forbid people's ability to speak in a manner that some, especially the prideful victimizers, regard as offensive, that's no different than stopping them from being able to think critically. And thought has three components. You ask a question, you receive an answer, but then you have to evaluate the answer, and you evaluate the answer with critical thinking. And insofar as you do that, you're going to cause emotional distress. You're going to be offensive. So now when Ben, the entire song rotates around the notion of facts and facts versus feelings. Well, feelings can orient you in the world, right? They give us a first pass, low resolution, quick, instinct-laden manner of evaluating the world, literally evaluating it, telling the difference between what's good and what's not. But we've allied that with a much more differentiated communication system that enables us to build a representation of something approximating the objective world. And what we generally do is we refine our emotional commitments with the facts that we gather around us, because we can be led astray by our instinct. So, for example, the instinct of a compassionate woman is going to be to feel sorry for like everything and everyone. And fair enough, because there's lots of misery in the world, and there are true infants, and there are children that need to be taken care of, and there are old people, and there are sick people. It's like, so I would say to women, it's like, go out and find someone that actually needs to be taken care of, that would take some work. Have a child, for example, instead of inventing victims so that you could pretend to be female. And so that's exactly what's going on here. So, all right, continue. Okay, there we go. All right, so here's another way that feelings can be perverted by the narcissistic. Now, if you cry, that's a distress cry. And you're showing that you're dissolving. You're dissolving in the salt water of tears. And what's dissolving is your adaptive stability, right? You can't handle it. You can't manage. That's why you cry. You're overwhelmed. And the cry signifies that, the tears and the lack of ability to speak, because you can't speak when you're really sobbing. It's a distress cry that's sent out to the world to gather attention and resources. Okay, now, if you're a child and you're crying because you have a diaper pin stuck in you, to use an example from like 60 years ago, or you're too hot or you're too cold, and all you can do is lay there. So what do you got? You can cry, and that brings attention to you, and then care. And And now attention is a very valuable resource. Okay, so what does that mean? It means pain cries can be gamed by narcissistic psychopaths. That's what it means. And so we know this because obviously the worst people are going to guise themselves in the highest form of moral virtue. That's the essence of hypocrisy. And so if you're a whiny, crying victim and you attract attention in consequence, well, then you're gaming the system that was used, that was cobbled together as a consequence of a lengthy evolutionary process to ensure the care of dependent infants. You're mimicking that, and that's a terrible form of theft. You're taking from the people who are genuinely in need and you're deflecting all that attention to yourself. And why are you doing that? Well, so that you don't have to bear responsibility for your own life. How's that? So that you can sponge off on someone stupid enough to feel sorry for you. And then you can wave your bloody flag of your divisive flag of moral virtue out in the streets instead of like going to volunteer in a hospital to take care of sick children or having a baby, for example, which is where all that superfluous maternal instinct should most genuinely be directed. We know perfectly well, as I said earlier, that being a woman and being female are the second and third best predictors of being a politically correct authoritarian. Well, how about if we made the hypothesis that that's a perversion of the maternal instinct that isn't being utilized properly by young women between the ages of 18 and 30, who are far more likely to be progressive than any other kind of person? If we're going to have a serious conversation about this, we're always too goddamn cowardly to do that. So, all right, so that's that. Okay, so Tom asked, what would Ben do? Now, this brings us to a discussion of personality. So it's one of the things that makes this video so compelling and interesting is that Ben and Tom are quite different in personality in a subtle way, although the overt manifestations of that aren't subtle at all. Tom is a crazy looking bastard, metal teeth, tattooed to the hilt, crazy hairstyle, like he's quite the monster. Now, I did a study at Harvard 40 years ago, with a colleague of mine. I won't say her name because I don't know if she would be happy about it or not.